Okay, so first and foremost, I just wanted to thank you all for joining the session today. Today is going to be an opportunity for you to see uh, what is behind the scenes and what is under the covers, and we are gonna get our hands dirty with the service. So even though we're gonna have a few slides, I don't like slides at all. So most of the time we are gonna be walking you guys through the AWS console, SDK, APIs, and things like that. So stay tuned because today is going to be a drill down into all the all the infrastructure and all the what is behind the scenes with all these services. But before we can uh, cut to the chase, I just wanted to walk you guys through some of the updates since we launched the service. So I'm gonna walk you guys through the model updates. I'm gonna provide details on what on-demand versus provision and throughput looks like, and what is the purpose and what is the goal. The new pricing model, some of the feature highlights, and we are gonna drill down into all of these features highlights, including agent, knowledge base, custom models, chat, playground, and things like that. So stay tuned because today is going to be deep dive for sure. So just wanted to provide with a few bullets that everybody needs to know, and these are the key differentiators for Amazon Bedrock. First and foremost, the purpose more than anything is to provide choice to our customers. So we are not stick with a single foundation model, but instead we provide access to a variety of different foundation models because we believe choice is, choice is the most important thing at this point. Also, we have the ability to privately customize foundation models. In other words, you can pick up, for example, Amazon Titan, and then provide samples of your data set so you can train your model for a specific domain or a specific area you wanted to train. And you guys are going to see this firsthand. I'm going to do this as I'm doing my live session. You can enable data security using VPC endpoint. And on top of that, you provide security at rest and in trains for all things. And also during the demo, I'm going to show you how to enable CloudWatch and S3 buckets to capture all the transactions, including the payloads, the images, and things, and even embeddings if you wanted to record that. I'm going to teach you how to do that. Secondly, we're going to learn how to do agents because agents is a key component, especially when you are implementing designing patterns like React, right? And you're going to learn how to use agents to orchestrate complex and business tasks. So pretty much what we do is that you can integrate agents with Lambda functions, and then you can provide additional context. For example, for those of you that were attending my session yesterday, you probably have seen that I went through a demo where I was providing natural languaging to connect to a database. So behind the scenes, we have an agent. You probably have seen agents with LangChain, and now we're going to show you agents that are out of the box with Bedrock. Okay, and on top of that, you're going to learn how to use knowledge base to provide an easy way to connect with RAG, which means that basically you're going to need to provide your data source, which could be like an S3 bucket. Then you can specify your vector database, which could be Pinecone or Redis or even open source serverless. And that's the one that I'm going to use, and I'm going to show how to do that. And last but not least, we get the best price performance without managing infrastructure. So we are 100% serverless, and you're gonna see. And probably for those of you that had the opportunity to play with that, you're gonna see some new capabilities since we launched Bedrock last week. So for those of you that haven't had the opportunity to play with Bedrock yet, it's very easy. So basically you use this to build generative AI application using foundation models of your preference, right? So first step, you need to pick up the foundation model that you want. and you can use as it is, or you can customize. Just as a reminder, for now, the only model that you can customize is Titan, but we are going to be providing support for other foundation models like Anthropic Claude, AI 21, Jurassic, and so on and so forth. So forth. Then basically you need to call the API, send the prompt, and receive a response. So easy. We're going to spend a lot of time, so I don't want to spend time with slides. And next, what I wanted to do is to do a quick recap on the new model. So we have these 6 different providers, but you guys can expect this list to grow faster in the next uh, over time, because the purpose, as I said, is to provide choice. For example, the first one, Amazon Titan, we provide support for text-to-text with natural language processing text, such as text summarization, generation, and also we have text embeddings that I'm going to explain in the next slide. So the purpose for this is for you to implement similarity search and to have a more um, when you need to implement search with which are more relevant to a specific topic. So basically, you are creating embeddings out of your documents. So whenever you're doing uh, search, uh, you're gonna you're gonna bring some additional context out of those documents, so that this information can be embedded into the prompt. So I'm gonna talk about this in the next one. But the first point here is that Meta with Llama 2, this is coming soon. This is gonna come out in the next few weeks. But as you can see, we support a variety of different use cases. So we have different sizes and prices, and based on during my session with the prompt engineer, you're gonna find out the difference between the different size we have. Other than cost, also some of them are specific for a couple of use cases, and if you wanted to create a solution that is more cost effective, eventually you can pick up the model which is lighter, and also the benefit is sometimes that you're gonna have prompt responses, right? You're gonna have fast responses, and this is a great benefit. But in summary, we have these 6 foundation models, right? And on top of this, I wanted to mention that with Cohere, we support command and also embed. And this particular one supports over more than 100 languages. So this is really important for us, because these days we create applications not only in English, but pretty much global applications. And sometimes we may need to adapt our chat or eventually our Q&A to support different languages, right? So you may ask questions in English and receive response in Spanish, and vice versa, and whatever your application, whatever you wanted to implement. Uh, Next, it's really important to mention that we added support. We released the Titan text embeddings, which now support up to 8,000 tokens with a smaller output vectors, which is really good for this. And we support 25 different languages, right? So these are pretty much the highlights. This is has been released now since Bedrock became GA. And also with Cohere Command, we have this option, and we are going to be in support for command line, as well as Cohere Embed is coming out. It's coming out soon, right? So speaking about some of the new things related to uh, inference options, right? So we need to understand what the options are: inference rates, limits, and throughput. So basically a summary for those of you attended the session yesterday. There is a summary for inference options. So we have 2 options: on-demand and provisioning throughput. For the first name, of course, as the name implies, is the pay-as-you-go. There's no usage commitment. But on the other side, we have requests per minute and tokens per minute enforced. So there is a cap, there is a limit. And usually what we recommend is that these options is great for prototypes or small workloads with more relaxed requirement for throughput and latency, right? So this is the overall recommendation. But on the other side, when you are moving to production workloads with big workloads, we definitely recommend this provisioning throughput because you have guaranteed throughput at a fixed cost, right? So you can roughly make a comparison when you use EC2 or reserved instance. I'm not saying this is the same thing, but that's the overall idea. So with the first one, don't have commitment. With the second one, you have 1 month commitment or 6 months commitment, and the larger the commitment is, the more affordable, the cheaper the cost is going to be, right? And you pay hourly with discounted for extended commit. Um, Next, so speaking about on demand, so we have hard limits on runtime quotas enforced, right? And support for other workload types. For example, you may have high number of requests with low number of tokens, or high number of tokens with low number of requests, or something, or anywhere in between. So it's a combination of that. And here is the on-demand runtime quotas, right? So here are all the models we have at this point: AI 21, Amazon, Anthropic, Cohere, Stability AI. And this is whenever you are using on-demand, uh, you have this request processed per minute uh, quota and tokens processed per minute. So it's a combination of both, right, for these models. So this is really important to understand. In addition to that, you have the provisioning throughput model units, which is something that you buy through the console. I'm going to show firsthand during the session how you can log in, how you can purchase this provisioning throughput. And the good news is that you may have a hybrid, you may combine both, which means that a portion of your workload can go with the on-demand model, while the other is going to use provisioning throughput. So you can mix and match. So basically, when you call your API, you're gonna be given an ARN, which you need to specify to consume from the provisioning throughput bucket, right? So that's a way. And even when you are using your the console, you have the option to say, hey, I wanted to use provisioning throughput for the playground, for example. That's a way you can do it. Pricing, model pricing, right? So pricing dimensions, as I mentioned, on demand, provisioning throughput, and also remember we had model customization, which means that you can train your model for specific tasks. So, for example, here's a table for on-demand pricing for tax inferencing, right? So this is really important to see because sometimes you may not need to pick up the one that has the larger context window. Sometimes you may go with the one which has the smallest context window because, as you guys can see here, it's much more affordable. So in other words, whenever you're designing your application, you need to understand the use case, workload size, input tokens, output tokens, uh, the task you wanted to perform, whether it's a text summarization or Q&A or text generation or code generation, because sometimes you are going to be able to pick up the model that is smaller and could be a great fit while keeping quality and being cost effective, right? So this is really important because at the end of the day, when you are designing your solution, you need to come up with the one that has the best quality and is the most cost effective. Okay. Image generation, basically, you are charged by request. So we have standard quality, premium quality, and this is a price per 1,000 images, right? And this is the pricing for custom model training in Inference when you customize your model, like doing fine tuning. So whenever you're doing fine tuning, uh, you use this. So with that in mind, it's really important to remember that you need to try to maximize other approaches rather than go to fine tuning, right? Because sometimes by just doing some prompt engineering combined with RAG, you may achieve the a better results without incurring any additional cost for fine tuning, right? So need to keep a balance in to determine what your business needs are, technical needs are, to try to find a sweet spot. Got it? And some additional feature highlights that I wanted to explain to you. I'm gonna walk you guys through during the demo, but we have fine-grained model access, which means that a user can enable or disable the models that you wanted to access uh, from the console or the API. All right, so you have the option to do that. On top of that, we have introduced the capability of chat within the playground. I'm gonna do this for you so you can understand. Basically, the difference between this and the text is that we have chat history, which means that I don't need to repeat the questions again because we are speaking like in a chat based, and the context is already so under the covers is using chat history. One additional thing that I'm going to explore a lot is the knowledge base, how to implement RAG, connect to vector engine, Amazon open source serverless. I'm going to explain what the process look like, how to set up this. And also, I'm going to walk you guys through how to create an agent from scratch where I'm going to select my model, provide basic instructions. I can this is optional, but I can decide whether or not I wanted to connect to a lambda function. Then third step, I can connect to a data source, which is going to be my knowledge base, and I can provide this to be consumed using my a sandbox where I can test the agent, or I can call the agent for using the Bedrock API, right? Custom models, you're gonna see this firsthand as well. So I wanna create a data set from scratch using Anthropic Cloud, and then use that to train my own model with Titan. That's going to be my demo. So you're gonna see this firsthand. And you're going to see also the model invocation logging using S3 and CloudWatch logs to log all the invocation for text, image, embedding. So this is really important for auditing process, and you're going to see that as well. So that's enough talking. So let me stop showing my slide deck, and now let's spend some time with the demo. Right, here we go. Okay, so let me see if I have everything I want over here. Here we go. So for those of you that haven't played already, I'm gonna see that we have this available right now at US East 1, US East 2, US West 2, uh, Singapore,
Andre,
Tokyo.
do you mind zooming in a bit?
Okay,
Thank you, sir.
thank you. How about now? Better,
That's
right?
it. Yeah, better. Thank you.
Okay, so we have this in Tokyo, Singapore, and we're gonna have this also coming in the next few weeks, hopefully, and in Frankfurt, and a couple of other regions, right? So let me start first with the chat, right? So this is a new thing for those of you that haven't played already. Basically, need to pick up a model, which I'm gonna pick up Anthropic. Then I'm going with the Claude 2. And I have the option, as I mentioned, I'm using on-demand provisioning throughput. If I wanted to change to provision, I may want to pick up one for this. I don't have any for now, so that's why I don't have any for Anthropic Cloud. I have only for Titan. I'm going to show you in a minute. What I can do is to add instructions. So for example, uh, you are an employee at a pizza restaurant. Okay. So what I'm going to do first is that I'm going to establish a conversation. So I'm going to say that I'm a customer that I'd like to place an order for delivery, right? So let me start doing this. So hey, I'd like to place an order for delivery, pizza delivery, please. So he asked about the options, right? Um, so I'll say I like a large pepperoni pizza and an order of breadsticks. Uh, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to ask uh, to add a bottle of Coke, for example. Delivery. Also, can I get a 2 liter bottle of Coke? Okay. And that's a summary. That's it. Delivery, please. Oops. So now what I can do, for example, is my address is 1234 Annie Street, Winter Garden, Florida. And that's it. So one of the things that I wanted to do, for example, is that I can provide additional instructions. And this is really easy. The point is that we have history right here, right? So this is one of the things that is new because when you go to the text, for example, you can ask as many questions as you want, but it doesn't keep the history. So you need to provide whenever you need to make a request, you need to provide information again. And this is one of the new things that I wanted to show. Uh, Secondly, the thing that I wanted to walk you guys through is about the agent, right? But before we drill down into the agent, I'm going to walk you guys through the process to create a knowledge base. So basically, knowledge base allows you to connect uh, to a data source. So for example, you can specify S3 location, then select an embedding model, which could be one of those three options. And knowledge base is going to create embeddings out of those documents. For example, in this case, what I have done is that I created a knowledge base for text filing or text return. In my case, what I did, for example, I created this bucket with these two PDFs, right? And then what I asked is that I said, hey, my data source is this one. And please note that if you add more documents, you have the option to sync that, have the option to do that manually, or you can automate this process. And for the embedding models, what I selected was a Titan embedding. And for the vector database, I use the vector engine open source serverless. And this is really important because, let me show you open source service. It's really straightforward, so easy to do. Basically, you need to create a collection, right? Like I did, Bedrock collection entry, which is the same one I use over here. For example, and I'm using this, the ARN for this collection to reference this while setting it up, right? And I created an index, the text field, and also the metadata field, which is used by this model, right? And that's it. That's the easy way to set up. If you wanted to create a new knowledge base, it's so easy. You can just go through the steps. I can call this knowledge base demo. You need to set up IAM role, which has permissions to do that. Basically, you need to set up a data source. You can call uh, test data source tags, browse my knowledge base documents. Okay. Select the model and then select which vector database. And please note that I won't use any line of code. This can be done using the interface. So basically I need to copy this, right? Copy this one. Use this one over here, the index name, vector field, and things like that. I'm gonna do this right now because it takes a few minutes to create a knowledge base and to index everything. But just wanted to show that it's so easy to create. But you need to follow the documentation because you need to set up the collections as well as the index. And whenever you wanted to create an index, you need to create an index and then specify some additional information, right? So you need to go sign, for example, and some additional information over here. Going back to this is the process to create a knowledge base, right? So we have this set up there. And then the next one that I'm going to do right now is that I'm going to go ahead and create a tax agent demo. And the first option is select whether the agent can prompt additional information. I'm going to say yes. Use the existing service role. I'm going to use this one that I have created for agents. Session timeout, 30 minutes, which is okay. And then what I'm going to do is that I'm going to ask, I'm going to say instructions for the agent. You are helpful in friendly agent that answer US tax filing questions for users. Next. Action groups is used whenever you want to connect with your with a Lambda function. So you can connect with an external system like database, CRM, or whatever you want. You can have multiple action groups. At this point, I won't use any action groups, right? I'm just going ahead and uh, specify the knowledge base and enter the instructions. So use this knowledge base whenever you need to answer questions around about tax filing and return. Okay, review and create. Here are the steps. And voila. It's creating an agent. Should take, yeah. And here we go. Your new agent is ready up and running for you to use, right? So what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to pick up this tax agent that I created. And as you guys can see, there is a kind of sandbox that you can play with your agent, right? So I'm going to just get started and say, hello, what's your name? This is in preview mode, so sometimes it may take some time to answer the questions. So we are improving as we speak. But the purpose more than anything is that to show that you can implement RAG without having to create any line of code or even using a lang chain. So it says, hello, my name is Claude. How may I assist you today? Uh, basically, I like to ask some questions about tax filing. Can you help me, please? And my next question is around, say I have a business, right? And I run a business and I wanted to do a address change. So it's going to return. As you guys can see in the beta, we have the prepare phase where you are working on a draft. And once we deploy, we can have multiple different versions of the same agent, right? So this is important when you want to customize. So what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to ask, what should I do if my business address changes, right? So for example, over here, you guys can see the answer, right? And also a reference for the document, which is in this P15 PDF. I can just go there and see the answer. And I can ask some additional questions. For example, what is the difference between market discount and qualified stated interest? One additional thing that is important to mention is that, as you guys can see here, this is in preview, right? both knowledge base agents, and we are doing some design, and we may have some design changes. And this is for now, it's only draft. So it's not only running production. But here's the answer, right? And again, the reference for the document. And moving forward, one additional thing that I wanted to do is to show how to, for example, to do custom models, right? For example, whenever you wanted to do, let me, Amazon Bedrock user guide custom models, right? So this is important to see because you may, for you to train your model, you gotta come up with a JSON-L file, which has this format, right? You can come up with as many things as you want, but one creative way to do that is basically to leverage generative AI for doing this for you. And what I did for to make our lives easier while doing this is that I pick up Anthropic Claude and I did like a prompt to help me create this JSON-L file for us. So for example, write a JSON file to fine tune a large language model with 40 samples, examples using this format as the output regarding AWS machine learning service. This is just a demo can do into any specific domain, but basically what the assistant is going to do is to create exactly what I need to put into my JSON-L file, right? And you guys can see here that it's going to take some time to produce this. But on the other side, what I did, if you guys see my Visual Studio, this is a sample that I have created, right? Which has 200 plus samples on everything you can talk about the Amazon AI search. So Amazon SageMaker, Ground Truth, and Neo, and many things like that. And I have the input and the output. So based on that, when I have this, I should have increased the number of tokens. But anyways, let me do this again. This is going to take some time. But on the other side, what I wanted to show you is that there isn't a way to fine tune your model. And this is really easy. So you basically need to fine tune, pick up the one you can do. For now, it's only Titan. You can call this uh, custom model demo, right? And you call this custom model demo job. And you can point to the bucket with the fine-tuned models. So I'm gonna pick up this one, choose. I have hyperparameters. I use a number of epochs if I wanted to do something more sophisticated with with more accuracy, learning rate, and things like that. You can prepare also the validation data set to make sure uh, you're gonna have the best data set and also the output. So for example, in this case, I'm gonna fine tune, pick up the output folder, and that's it. How we use an existing one, for example, Bedrock fine tune IM, which is one that I created. And that's it. Here's the job. You guys can see that I'm training my job. It's going to take like 10, 15 minutes. I don't have enough time to wait. But what I wanted to show you is that what if I go, for example, to this chat? I can go to custom models and I have a model that has been trained, which is this AWS AI Service custom model. And I can, and as you guys see, I'm using Bedrock provisioning throughput, which is one that I purchased specifically to that. So rather than use for custom models, you need to use provisioning throughput. That's the rule, right? So that's the way it works. So you have this, you gotta have this for provision. So that's why you need to understand, you need to figure out whether or not you're gonna need to do fine tuning, because you may have some additional costs, and sometimes you may not need that. But anyways, fine tune models, this one, and I can ask the question: what is Amazon SageMaker? And if you guys look at my my training data, you're gonna see that the answer is exactly the one that has provided. It's really simple. You can do something more sophisticated, but the purpose was to show you how you can do that, right? And you can ask as many questions as you want. One additional thing, I know we are running short on time, but I wanted to spend some time with you to showcase some additional things. So model access, you have this option to enable and disable the ones you want. And also with the settings, you have the ability to enable CloudWatch. For example, let's say I go here and say to Anthropic and ask a question, for example, very simple one. Who was George Washington? As you guys can see here, I'm streaming the answer, right? Which means that the purpose, I did that on purpose because I wanted to show you this within CloudWatch. See, producing the output. Okay, so let me move to CloudWatch for now. As you guys can see, there is a log group that I created for this particular instance of Bedrock. So you guys can see here, Bedrock. And this is the log stream, AWS Bedrock model invocations. And you guys can see exactly the payload that I sent, right? Who was George Washington? And then the output. And as you guys can see, there are multiple completions because I did as a stream, which means that this is a synchronous call. And here is the answer, right? So this is really important because for audit purpose, you gotta have this, and also all the APIs with all the API calls are logged with CloudTrail, right? So this is really important because you need to see what's going on, right? For example, get foundation model. This is in one of the APIs that I use recently while working on the AWS console. So everything, you have CloudTrail, we have CloudWatch, we have VPC setup, security in transit, security at rest. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed this session. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.